Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to MJR YouTube channel for today's political analysis. And today's video, I am going to talk about graft and politics and how these two are intertwined. There is no any other single day that the prosecution will prosecute a case on graft in the Republic of Kenya, touching on high-profile leaders without politics being drawn into it. Like instant, for the last few days, Kenyans have been witnessing high-profile leaders being arraigned in court, more so on governors, the active governors in the office and the former governors. Like, let me take the two cases of former Bungoma governor Wycliffe Wanagamati, who is accused of a scandal worth 70 million, and Hilary Barchok of Bomet, who is being accused of embezzlement of 152 million shillings through county tenders. These two governors, among others whom I will mention later, are said to have embezzled this money through proxy companies or family companies to award tenders. If we talk about Wangamati's case, for instance, already there are accusations against Speaker Moses Wetangula that he has a hand in Wangamati's problems, because Wangamati is said to be preparing for a Bungoma gubernatorial race, and that he's going to vie for the second time. And we know very well that Tim Wanyonyi, who is Wetangula's brother, is also on that race. And therefore, people have now drawn politics into this issue, and they are now accusing Wetangula to be behind Wangamati's misfortunes. But let me ask you, how sure are we? Because this is not the first case EACC is following up on graft, because we know the files were forwarded to DPP by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. And once the EACC realized or found out that the cases have met the threshold for prosecution, then they ordered the arrest of those governors. And there are still 3 more governors, or 2 more governors, like Muhammad Ali of Marsabit, who is accused of 728 million shillings, Kenyan shillings. Then we have Kimani Wamatangi of Kiambu, who is being accused of embezzlement of 1.27 billion shillings through road tenders. It is said that these governors, they start companies through family. You can see some of them are co-accused with their wives, brothers, sons, and other relatives on these cases. So this is not about somebody's or witch hunt. And if we continue to politicize these graft cases, then Kenyans will not realize their effort on graft or on the war against corruption. Because anytime, if you are very careful and you've been interested in following the trends in this country, you will realize that anytime any arrest is made on these leaders, most so elected leaders, there is a group of people who comes out to demonstrate or to protest their arrest, to intimidate the authority on the war against graft. Like Kimani Wamatangi, this could be the second arrest in his first term if this case, which the EACC is investigating, because it is said that this 1.27 billion shillings road tenders were awarded to a company which he is the sole signatory, which means that that company is his and his proxy. So if such a case is proved to be true and legit and valid, then you see the resident of Kiambu going to protest at the EACC for the release of their governor. And like now, the people of Bungoma, some of them, are feeling like Moses Wetangula is trying to frustrate Wycliffe Wangamati. We know that Wangamati was a governor in Bungoma, but he served for one term between 2017 and 2022. And then Lusaka made a comeback and he lost. But he is on record that he's going to vie again. And people now feel, his supporters feel like Moses Wetangula is behind his misfortunes. But how true is that? Because we can even see Muhammad Ali, Marsabit governor, being investigated over 728 million. Who is behind him? What about Kimani Wamatangi? So what about Hilary Barchok? So these are just issues that always keeps on arising. But funny thing is this issue of members of parliament. Members of parliament are proved to be untouchable. And any person who tries to touch parliament, they comes out guns blazing. And this will frustrate war against graft. If there are other people who cannot be touched in this country, then we cannot fight graft. MPs, just like any other state officers, are also subject for scrutiny. They can't be putting the government on check, and they can't be put on check. The other day, when the president alleged that there are some corruption cases within Parliament building or the corridors of Parliament, members of Parliament were so furious about these claims and allegations, while others admit that indeed there are some money exchanging hands within the corridors of Parliament and without. EACC have said that they have no evidence against members of Parliament, but we know that the EACC knows their history with Parliament. Remember, the Kenya Anti-Corruption Commission CAS was disbanded by Parliament, and the last director to serve was Patrick Lumumba, and his commissioners were sent home before their time ended. So I know even the current commission will not dare go to Parliament. But members of Parliament must also be investigated. I hear the director of EACC say that they are trying to follow or to investigate MPs on the issue of CDF expenditures. CDF is a national government fund on constituency development, but this money is being patronaged by the members of Parliament. And when Raila Odinga mentioned the issue of transferring or taking this money back to the counties or scrapping it off, members of Parliament came out guns blazing to defend this money. But the contrary is that constitutionally, this money should not be spent by members of parliament, because nowadays it is a national government, which means there is a person who is in charge of this money on the constituency level from the national government. Then the MPs are just the patrons who goes around to monitor or to follow up on the developments of these that this money can do. But it would appear as if it is the MPs who decides which projects can be done with this money, and they are the ones to decide who to be given the tender. And that is where the bone of contention comes in. And it is true that indeed they have influence and they have big say on how this money is spent on their areas of representation. And that's why they can't allow this money to be taken to another department within the government or any other level of the government. But let's take, for instance, there are this fund set aside for bursary. You know, there are so many bursaries in this country, which leaves you wondering why such duplication. Because MCAs have bursaries, members of parliament have bursaries, women rep have bursaries, governors have bursaries, and even state house has bursary. So, and these bursaries, you know, those who have gotten these bursaries knows that the bursary cannot be given to students who are studying in private schools. That student who wants the bursary or whoever is applying for the bursary must be a student of government or public school. So it means that this is government money being given to government. Why not consolidate this fund into one kitty, then make education free and free indeed, other than duplicating these funds? Because it has been seen as if many people use this fund for campaigns. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for taking your time, and may God bless you.